Good morning, Rogersville. How are you? Beth, look at you. Right away, you are in the feed. You're greeting us. But, man, Will and Lauren are gone. So I've got a special guest here today. It's a little bit different. I don't know. I feel a little odd here. I don't have Will and Lauren, but I'm excited for you guys to meet my friend Jeremy Hahn. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. So my co-hosts, Will and Lauren, we don't know where Lauren is. She's out, I don't know, just selling houses or something. I'm not sure. But Will is, he's looking for Lionel Messi in Argentina. I really don't know why he's there, but I've told him if you can find Lionel Messi, that's I want a picture. I want to see a picture of you and Messi. Do you know who Messi is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got 3 little boys.
Yeah. Are they all about it?
Follow him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Will cares a bit about soccer. In fact, I can promise you he doesn't. So, yeah. Man, I'm super stoked. Jeremy and I have been friends for a long time, fellow pastors, church planters, entrepreneurs, all the things. I think this is why we get along so well, is because it's hard to kind of put a single hat on us, right?
That's right.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, served for a couple of decades in youth ministry and then church planting, and all along the way just had a passion for business and life outside of church and home, and what does it look like? The 1/3 of our life we spend working. So just put a lot of energy into what that looks like for people, and I've helped several students launch their own businesses, and I just have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, and I love that. I think that's why I appreciate you so much, is because you and I both see the church, but also pastoring maybe a little bit different. It's a little unconventional the way you and I maybe see our role as pastors.
Yeah.
Is it's not just about what's going on in the building and about just preaching the sermons, but about community life, enriching the community where God has placed you. I refer to it as incarnational ministry. Not that that's my term or anything, but that's how I often try to explain it to people. When Christ showed up, God in the flesh, he made an impact on this world, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I feel like our churches and our pastors need to have that kind of missional concept to how we do what we do. And I just admire you for the way that I see you creating culture, enhancing culture wherever God has placed you. And man, I don't know. I love the things you've done on the north side of Springfield. And so tell us a little bit more about that, because you really have had a massive impact on the lives of young people, especially on the north side.
Yeah, it's north side of Springfield is, of course, one of the most difficult areas of our town.
You know my love for being on the north side.
I know, yeah. North of sunshine, Ballard won't come. But
it's kind of the joke in our pastor group, is that I avoid the north side. It's not true, but somehow that...
pretty close to true.
Okay, well, maybe.
We love to give you a hard time.
It's because I know God sent you there. And
That's
he's
right.
put me in Rogersville, right? So
sure.
I don't cross that line.
We'll get you up there one day.
Yeah.
No, it's working in a difficult area there. Over 10 years ago, started a project and took an abandoned elementary school and brought it back to life as a neighborhood center. And as we're working with students, we knew we needed to help challenge kids and to help them find their way out of poverty. And you can work with parents so much, but really to change things in the future, you've got to change a generation. And as I worked with kids, I just realized, man, they've got these dreams, they've got these hopes, but they quickly get squashed. And all of a sudden the dream becomes, well, I'll get that hourly job at McDonald's and maybe be manager one day. But man, how can we go past that and just be your own boss? And so I started doing a lot around job skills training and exploring, man, what does it look like to equip kids into business of their own? Not one day in the future, but today. How do they transform it? And just gets real exciting seeing kids light up around the idea of, I could own my own business, I can create my own thing, and what that means for them in the future.
Yes. right? Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Tell them what yes is.
Yeah, yes is our.
Sorry, that was cheesy.
That's
That
right.
was a little corny.
It gets real cheesy. But our Young Entrepreneurs Showcase,
Yeah.
and we're actually still North Side. Sorry, Ballard.
Yeah, it's okay.
But our Young Entrepreneurs Academy is launching this fall.
Yeah.
We just took another old elementary school, Robertson Elementary School.
Right.
We're moving in, creating a maker space. We'll have a full-on after-school program. Kids can enroll in and go deeper, take a deeper dive into their business.
Yeah, that is so cool. And by the way, we've got some stuff here in front. We'll talk about here in a minute, but help us to kind of get the bigger picture about what the Young Entrepreneurs Showcase is all about and where it started and how long you've been doing it and how many kids are involved in this program now.
Yeah, that's right. We so far in our about 8 years of doing the Young Entrepreneurs Showcase, we have launched over 200 businesses, all owned by kids and licensed by the city of Springfield.
Okay, wow. So when you say kids, what's the age group?
Ages
range?
5 to 25.
So catch this, 5 to 25, y'all. They are starting their own businesses. They have an actual business license in the city of Springfield. That is incredible.
That's right. Yeah.
And you said how many?
Over 200.
Wow.
That's right. We're not sure how many are still active or not. The kids are in and out, but it's incredible to see how many stick with it.
You are speaking the language of what I hear so many people longing for, especially here. I know our people in Rogersville, they love this idea that we're not just given more handouts. This is more of a hand up, right? We're happy to give some things away, right? And as a church, we do that as there's a need for providing food, providing assistance. All the local churches I know of here have some type of a benevolence offering. They can help out with certain needs. But what you're talking about here is breaking a cycle.
That's right.
And that is, to me, that is so key. And I love that you do that. I love that you're making this investment. I know it takes a lot of work for you. So 8 years... this has been kind of a growing, developing concept, right? Yeah, so it started with what?
Yeah, we started as a children's business fair, and backing it up a little further than that, I was looking for something to help our families, so I stumbled on this program called Jobs for Life, and it's a big international program, but just incredible at showing people really what it is. It's not teaching them the hard skills or how to interview better. While all that's a part of it, how to write your resume, it's really showing them they were created for purpose, and there is purpose in work. And when we find purpose in work, it doesn't matter what we're doing, we're going to want to live our purpose.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. And so I took all that and I've applied it to Young Entrepreneurs Showcase, now the Academy, and just to see people kind of begin to center around that. We started as the Springfield Children's Business Fair,
right?
And things were going awesome there. We were doing outdoor markets, and that was fun, especially when snow came and rain. It was a little wild, but it was just a cool feel back then. 25 booths, and finally we grew to the point. One of our students, we sat down and created an advisory council. She said, well, you know what? I guess this is my last time to participate. She said, I'm 14 and I'm not a child anymore, so I can't participate in a children's business fair. So we had to rebrand a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what I love, those you dialed it way back. We need that perspective, right? Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Yeah. No one comes to the Father except through me. I think as Christians, we get really caught up on that last phrase, that this is about coming to him for salvation, and it is. But there's implications to our salvation. There's a better way, right?
Yeah.
He is the truth, and there is life here. And you're talking about, I always talk about Jesus when he saves us, he makes us human again. Like we lost our humanity there, and now it's to be rehumanized in Christ. And so that's all of our implications for all of life, rather, is that it teaches how to be a dad, how to be a husband, how to be a business owner. And this is not a small thing, starting a business. It matters to God. It's not like, oh, it's my spiritual life and over here I work.
Yeah.
No, it's all together.
That's too often I feel like has been the feeling in churches.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we'll show up the Sunday morning. We've got our life group time. This is a good group of friends for moral support.
Yeah.
But man, the Spirit permeates every moment of our lives, and we've got to start living that way.
All of the gospel for all of life, right?
Right.
It's so cool. So I love that you're doing this for families, for young people. And so, man, just tell us some of the success stories then. Some of these kids and what they're doing and how you've seen them grow in this.
Yeah, it's just so cool to see some of our kids. One little girl, she came to us. She was 9 years old. She spent 5 years with us, and she had this idea of freeze dried candy. And man, she had a little booth there, and it looked like a lemonade stand, And she could barely talk at our first sessions, and that's a big part of this. You've got to be able to present yourself.
Yeah, you may have a great idea. But
if you
tell
can't
us who you are and what you're doing, right?
Yeah. So that's every session we have with students. They have some sort of presentation to make, and she got up there. She was so nervous. She had her paper. She could barely get it out, But sure enough, as she goes through our process, she gets more and more confident. And so she had her little lemonade stand the first time, and she sold a few things, but she saw some cash. I think she lost money at that one, but she saw a little cash come through.
But isn't that business learning how? I'm gonna lose a little too.
Yeah. She saw people were excited about it, though. So she kept selling. She came back, and she improved her booth. And so year after year, we saw this marked improvement. And about year 3, she comes in. She has a sandwich board. She's hired her sister and another friend. They're out there with sample platters, and she's up in everybody's face. She did the best over everybody.
That's incredible.
She made several $100s at that one profit. And we teach them to track, net versus gross, how this all works.
Yeah.
And she announced to us a year ago, she said, well, I want to let you know, I know you tell us to get out to these community markets, and you're always giving us ideas and where we can start to sell. She said, but I can't do it anymore. This is the only thing I can participate in. And I thought, oh boy, she got a boyfriend. 14 years old, here we go. Right. It's over for her.
Right.
She said, no. She said, I just signed a contract, and I'm doing the private label packaging for Buc-ee's.
No way.
For their freeze-dried candy. I have leased my parents' basement. We've turned it into a commercial packing facility. It's all licensed. Just amazing. And so this is her full-time gig. She's employing her mom, as I understand, and it's really cool as she tries to finish school. She's putting her effort there. She tries to manage a business while she's finishing school. It's just really neat to see how she's succeeded.
That is awesome. So you can go to Buc-ee's and buy her stuff now.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. I love it so much. So help me understand, beginning, well, there's really no end, but from the beginning, walk us through the process. You've got a young person who says, okay, I've got a business idea. How do they get involved in Yes? How do they walk through the process with Yes?
Yeah,
because it's more than just you set up a booth and sell stuff.
Right.
There's training and a lot of teaching.
There is, and we'll allow students just to jump in on a showcase and set up the booth.
Sure.
Because they get to see how the others are doing.
Right.
It's kind of a fun little thing we've tracked. We do give away at our showcase events, our big events where students sell. Our customers vote on 3 different categories: best customer service, best business idea. And it's interesting to note that all of the winners, without our influence, all of the winners are students who have completed our courses.
Okay.
So those who are just jumping in.
You're not saying they won because they've completed your courses, like you gave them a little extra.
Right. No extra points.
But the fruit of the education you're giving is paying off.
Yeah, so it's been neat to see that it is beneficial. But they connect through us, all kinds of channels, register for the showcase. We get them into our classes. It's a 6-week session leading up to the showcase.
Right.
And we walk them through the acronym DREAM.
Okay, walk us through that.
Yeah, so we help them discover their dream, and that's about developing it. We talk about SMART goals. We even get into SWOT analysis. How do we look at this dream? What are the competitors? And let's look at every angle. And they get some of them who are competitive really get into that.
Yeah.
And we just have a lot of fun with that. But then we get into risking responsibly. And this is a good one. A lot of parents appreciate this session because, hey, you're borrowing mom's money.
Right.
And it's always a loan. Parents, please don't
just
give your kids money to go start a business or
100%.
Try that lemonade
I noticed
stand.
when you said earlier, she's leased her parents' basement.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
I caught that. That's really an important detail.
Yeah, don't give it to them.
Yeah.
We've got to see the real cost of business.
Yeah.
And this is the time to try and fail. But they risk responsibly. And here we get into even relationships. Do you hire that friend for a time? Be careful. Weigh all the options. Weigh everything that's at stake here. And then we talk about excellence, both in your product and in customer service, what you're offering. And this is where we really get into purpose. Why are you doing what you do? Yeah. Are we offering something of excellence? And that's not this thing we're making. This should be an excellent quality.
Right.
But this is myself. Who am I offering? Am I being honest here? Am I trying to cover up the bad quality? And it's okay to have lesser quality things. We talk about the quality of a burger.
Right.
Hey, if you want a fast burger, then, probably certain restaurants in Springfield are not the quality you're looking for.
Right.
Because they're going to offer a great slow-cooked burger that's fantastic in other ways, but you're going to go fast food something, So what is excellence for you?
There's always an exchange, right?
Be real with yourself. Discover yourself. Anyway.
No, it's
excellence,
good.
yeah.
I want to say good morning to Will Worsham, who's in Argentina. Will, how are you? So I've always said this about Will. Will is technically a lawyer, but he's really just an entrepreneur. As long as I've known him, how many businesses he's started and in different ways he's practiced law is pretty amazing. So, yeah, Will, you definitely embody the entrepreneurial spirit, and so it's kind of fun to have Jeremy on in your place this morning, brother. I hope you're having fun time down there. Give me a Messi jersey, or bring me Messi. I don't know. Anyway, so go on.
Big shoes to fill over here.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he has something. Well, I thought you were talking about Messi. He's got little feet. So.
No.
So much meat. He's eating all the food. Yeah, for sure. So you walk him through the acronym.
Yeah, just discover the dream, risk responsibly, excellence, move into action. Here's where we get into the marketing plan, how you present yourself, how will your booth be set up. It's important to have pricing displayed.
Right.
This isn't just walk up and let's negotiate with the importance of that. And that model works for some. So we just talk about all those things. And then we get into the M, of course, money.
Money.
And what do we do with the money? How to handle it well. We've got some banks that help count cash. Kids are learning to count cash.
Well, that matters. We were just talking to a bunch of old guys I had Bible study with about how if the computer system goes down, can the kid behind the counter give you change?
Probably not. In most cases. Our students can.
Yeah, good.
And that's a fun game we play. But beyond that, especially our more advanced kids, we're getting into what is profit and loss. What are all these things? What are my assets versus my liabilities? And here's 5, 6, 7-year-olds being introduced to these concepts and starting to apply it to their business.
Yeah.
And it's just neat to see. So often we think, oh, well, they're too young to learn these things. But when they're geared this way, let's give them the world and watch them take off.
Man, I love it. I love it so much. It's been fun for me to meet some of the young entrepreneurs you've worked with. By the way, they're selling these products that you see here at Storytime Coffee Company. And it was an interesting situation because we met with them and Jeremy, because I reached out to Jeremy. I said, hey, do you have anybody out here? And he said, yeah, I've got like 3 that are from the Rogersville area. And so we contacted them and said, we want to support this. We want to be a part of what you're doing. And so we want to sell their products at our store. We give them very favorable terms and conditions because we wanted to go into their pockets. The coffee shop's really not making anything off of this. We get a percentage because we want them to feel the weight of business.
Yeah.
But I loved it because Jeremy has a contract ready for these kids to sign. And we sat down and we went over the terms with them. And we signed paperwork and said, all right, here's our agreement to you. Here's your agreement to us. And they understood it, and they were responsible. They come in each week, check inventory. When somebody's bought, one of these plush toys or some of these bath salts, they come back in and they restock. And then once a month, we cut them a check, based on what you sold. Here's our cut. Here's your cut. They're getting most of it, almost all of it, but that's okay. We're super excited for them. But I love the professional component to it. You're not just being like, oh, they're kids. Just kind of cut them, just make it easy on them. No. You got to work.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. And this is only one place that they're selling their things. They're going to boutiques and, flea markets and whatever and setting up stuff. So it's been a lot of fun.
We've got one girl just north of here. She's now, I think she said she's in her 23rd store, 23rd shop.
No way.
She goes and hustles. She's got her jewelry displayed.
So she's spending a good amount of time each week then.
Yeah.
Making new product and then restocking stuff.
That's right.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so unfortunately, I was hoping to have some of our young entrepreneurs show up, but they're hustling.
That's right, they are.
So between school, some of these are in summer school right now or they're doing other things, but so they weren't able to make it. But let's talk a little bit about these local kids and what they've done here. I think you've got, I think that's Addie's stuff over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Addie and Eli, brother and sister pair. And so Addie's got a couple things there. You want to show off some of that stuff?
Little jewelry
some
and
earrings. The tea towels.
Tea towels.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And what is this? Beeswax?
Yeah.
Peppermint?
Some chapstick. So, again, these are things that are going on at Storytime. And then her brother, Eli, has these little succulents that you can see. I'll get it right up here. Maybe you can see a little bit better. He's got these, and then he's got some bigger ones, or bigger pots, I should say, with like aloe vera, which is pretty cool. And then Darby has some sugar. What is that?
Yeah.
What do I call
scrub.
It? Sugar scrub. That's what I was looking for.
Right.
Which is amazing. You ever wash your hands with that stuff?
Yeah, they're silky smooth.
Yeah, you end up like walking away going, wow, my hands feel great. So not really my thing, but I can get into it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then she's also got in a 3-pack and then in singles also these bath salts. And so it's pretty neat. And each one of these kids, I brought Darby's stuff so you can see on display at Storytime. She's got her card, she's got a description, the price is well marked on all of her products. And so it's been really fun just to watch them kind of explore this and for us to partner with them as well.
Yeah.
And then here, did you meet Easton?
I believe I did meet Easton.
Okay.
Yes.
So he has started Deerwood Hat Company. And this was not a young man that was a part of your stuff yet, although I think he's about to be.
Yeah.
Easton, I was on Facebook and I kept seeing people post, he's done hats for my business. And I was like, wow, I got to meet this young man. So I reached out and said, hey, I want to hear your story. We love supporting young entrepreneurs. So I had him make up some Story Church hats and then also some Storytime Coffee hats. And then he has his own stuff for sale as well. So he's done a lot of like LR stuff, Logan Rogersville.
Yeah.
I had him make up some for our coaching staff for the soccer team
great.
as well. And then he's, here's an American flag hat as well. And so you can go in anytime and buy his hats at Storytime. Because I was noticing he was selling to business owners, having their hats with their own logos, and he does these leather patches. And it was fun hearing him tell the evolution of that. His dad's an entrepreneur. He owns a couple businesses.
Great, yeah.
And so he's learned from dad. And so he was talking about, hey, he had this cheap cutter, and it was okay, but it couldn't keep up. And so he had to make the investment in that more expensive machine.
Yeah.
And in there, you felt the weight of business.
That's right.
This is not just a hobby anymore. I have put down some serious money on a big piece of equipment. And so he's doing the math, trying to figure out, okay, how many hats do I have to sell to hit the break-even point? When do I get to start making money again? And so it's kind of fun to hear his story and the evolution of it. Because like I said, now he's not just selling to business owners. Now anybody can walk into Storytime Coffee Company and say, hey, I just want one of your hats. So
that's right. That is so cool.
Yeah.
And a great way to connect with these students.
Absolutely.
I know Eli here, he got connected with one of the banks that support us. One of them was walking through and said, oh, we want to do Christmas gifts and we want to add this in. So they ordered dozens of them from him.
The bank did?
Yeah, they did. So it's just a cool way. You're looking for something for your business. I mean, yes, you've got things on display, but it's a great way to connect, come in, find the students' info, and they love to do custom things for you as well. But I have to say thank you to Storytime for doing this. A lot of businesses hesitate, and there's a little investment to it.
Sure.
You've got to have a little space to display, and you got to track what the students are selling. But man, what an experience to take this from an event-based sales time to, okay, now I've got some responsibility and I've got to meet my end of a partnership. That's a powerful tool to help prepare some of our preteens even into what business is going to be like for them.
Yeah, and I do love how young some of these kids are, and the fact that you're still willing to invest in them. And I just think about the long-term gains. The investment we're making in these young people now, what kind of difference will they make, right? Because somebody poured into them. And you didn't mention that part, by the way. Some of these young people, they are being taught, but then they become mentors, right?
That's right.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we've launched a whole peer coaching program. So our students can apply after they've been with us a couple of rounds to become a coach. And that's part of the selection process you mentioned earlier, not selection, but application process.
Yeah.
As students are interested in us and they register for our event, they're assigned to a coach, and that coach calls them, and we help them kind of discover, okay, what are you thinking? What do you want to do for business? One of our students, his whole thing in that process was, I want to build airplanes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, all right. And he actually lived across the street from where we were meeting, and I'm talking. I'm thinking, all right, maybe model airplanes, and how does this go? He said, oh no. I said, well, where would you build these? He said, oh, well, my backyard. Well, how big is one? And he's looking it up. Well, I need like 100 feet, and I said, well, how big is your backyard? Oh, I don't know, 50 foot or so. And so we start doing the math, and he's realizing, oh, this isn't going to work. So we backed it down, and all of a sudden, he is doing model airplanes.
Okay.
And now he's really excited and on track in his schooling, looking at getting into a mechanic program. And
wow.
Yeah.
But see, I love that, because how many adults would squash that dream? Oh, that's silly. You can't build an airplane in your backyard. You know what? You're dreaming. Yeah. Let's explore this with you. Let's find out a way to make this happen,
Yeah.
And who knows, it may start with model airplanes, and next thing you know, he's working for Boeing,
Yeah.
or starting a better company. Yeah,
right.
So that to me, that's super exciting.
It is.
So I know you don't have a ton of time, because you've got a commitment at 9:00. You got to get back.
Get that academy up and running.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So real quickly, how do people find you? If there's a parent out there that goes, oh, I've got a young entrepreneur at home, how do they connect with you?
We're on Facebook, Young Entrepreneurs Showcase, or you can go to our website, youngentrepreneursshowcase.com, and connect with us, register there for the next event. And I would encourage anyone who's interested, go ahead and register for the event. Even if you're not sure you'll be there, that gets you on our info list, and you'll get all the info about upcoming events and how to get involved.
Yeah, sounds good. We do have that information at Storytime Coffee Company as well, so you can swing by, look at these young people, look at their products, and then also you can get the Young Entrepreneur Showcase. We've got some postcards and stuff like that, some info there that you can grab as well. So, brother, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm really glad you were able to come on and share a little bit about what you're doing. And then also for business owners that may want to support this, how do they help you?
That's right. A lot of different ways you can help us support the showcase. There again, youngentrepreneursshowcase.com. Come alongside. We look for cheerleaders, mentors, not just the peer-to-peer, but also come into the classes. Help us be a panelist and listen to some of those pitches and give them feedback. All kinds of ways to be involved. And now with the Academy, volunteer there, doing similar things. You're a marketer, you're a finance person. Come spend an hour a week with our students and just look over their plans and hear their ideas and give them some feedback. We love to just inspire their dreams. And man, I walk away more inspired than anything. They've got me wanting to start 20 new businesses, after talking with them. But
I love it.
It
was neat. I floated this idea out to our local chamber at our last meeting, and somebody who has served with you is a local banker here, and they said, hey, if you do this here in Rogersville, contact me right away. I want to help. And so the passion of these business owners and professionals that are willing to pour into these young people is really incredible. So, man, you've led the way. I appreciate you. Yeah. So, hey, we're going to wrap up the show a little bit early so we can get Jeremy back on the north side of town to get ready for this. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Hey, want to remind everybody, too, the baseball team is in the Final Four, which I believe is Thursday is their schedule. And then Thursday, our girls team, we're headed to St. Louis for the Final Four as well. So congrats to both the baseball team and the girls soccer team. Trying to think if there's anything else going on in town right now. We are in summer mode here in Rogersville, so it's a big transition. Summer school and just the normal summer things. So hope you guys have a great week. It's great to be on here. Will, Lauren, we miss you. Hope you're having a great time out there. We'll eat all of the Argentinian beef, and then don't forget that Lionel Messi jersey. I'm looking for it. No pressure. You probably find one of those around there somewhere. Hey, we're going to head out. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.